down here. Hey race fan, Brian Davis Races, and you can too. Today we are at the Snowcrown Series race number 2 at a Hilly Haven golf course just south of Green Bay, north of Appleton. So about 45 minutes from my house. A beautiful day. It was a lot colder earlier, but it really warmed up and the sun's out and there's no wind, so it's pretty good. I brought like every piece of clothing I own. I think I got it figured out to what I need, so I'm getting there. So let's see, I feel pretty decent today. I pre-rode this course, fun course, definitely a fitness course. As I phrased it to somebody else, this is a brain versus body course. So none of it's hard, it's not challenging, it's not technically difficult. There's some hills and there's just enough grinding to it to make it super painful. So it's just what you can do versus your brain telling you to quit doing it. And to be honest with you, that's not my strong suit, so we'll see how it goes today. But either way, I'm gonna have fun. I'm out of the house, I'm with bike people. What could be better, right? What could be better? All right, race fam, let's get after it. All right, race number 2, Snowcrown Series, Hilly Haven Golf Course. De Pere, Wrightstown, north of Appleton, south of Green Bay. Here we go. This is the whole shot. I'm comfortably in second wheel here behind Mr. Mike Budd, who went on to eventually win this bike race. And Dan's going to slide in ahead of me, so I'm going to take up third here for quite a while. And I felt really good. It wasn't a tremendously hard start, which was merciful. I appreciate that. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. But it did get hard soon enough. So what you'll hear throughout the course of the race is there's a couple things that went really pretty well for me, and there's a couple things that went really poorly for me. And both of those things are fairly within my control. It was just mental errors, mistakes, and I want to share these things with you in hopes that you can do things to improve your racing while you're watching this. So if you don't want to hear my voice, just mute me and then watch the awesome footage of bike racing, fat bikes across a golf course here in Wisconsin. Now, previous to the race, I got my breakfast in 3 hours in advance, a nice big fat bowl of oatmeal. I had a smoothie even earlier than that, power packed with some frozen berries, some oats. I've been doing that lately. That's actually turned out really cool because it fills me up much more than a normal smoothie by putting the rolled oats inside the smoothie. So that's helpful. Not cooked, just raw, and it adds quite a bit of gusto to the smoothie. So I got the pre-ride in 2 days prior, and I'm really happy that I did that. I was able to get through most of this course. This first section we didn't pre-ride, but it's pretty straightforward, right? And then that gave me a tremendous amount of confidence going into the race, that I knew the course, I knew some of the trickier turns. There was only maybe 3 or 4 tricky turns. The major tricky turn is this downhill that we'll be approaching soon to a hard right, and then there's an off-camber, slushy, snowy spot later in the race that proved difficult. I'm only going to be showing the first lap of the race because after this there was some good racing because I fell back from the groups and I joined other groups and fell back from those groups and joined other groups and fell back from those groups, but that's okay. There's a reason for the total failure, and we're about to have our first moment of this. So I'm racing, right? Everything's looking pretty good. I'm with the lead group here. I feel really strong. I'm not taxing my fitness right now. I know this turn is a little bit tricky, but I know how to deal with that, and I feel really good. Boom, right there. That's the first. Damn it. Yep, that's the first sign of problems. So what happened was when I went to go shift, there was nothing there. It just didn't. It just clunk, 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 nothing. And then I'm continuing to feel that happening right now. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I know earlier in the week after the pre-ride, my crank arm fell off. That's a problem, a maintenance issue, right? And then I got a new chain ring put on, a new chain, but not a new cassette. So the rest of the race, I'm thinking, why didn't I get a new cassette? Such a fail. All right, there's our first crash. Actually, I think that's the only crash I got on camera. Uh-oh. It gets a little slippy on the inside of that turn, so that's what caused that. But that's okay, right? And I'm feeling like, oh, that's a good advantage. And then, again, my shifting's going to create some problems here. I didn't even tell this guy I got problems. Go ahead. Yep. So that's frustrating, right? So it turns out it wasn't the cassette. So immediately after the race, I went to see my mechanic friend, and I said, just whatever is wrong with this bike, make it perfect. I'm so sick of having a bike be the cause of some amount of failure in my racing. So immediately, he discovered that the through axle was hanging on by about one thread. So the whole race, my rear wheel was slopping all around, and that was the problem. And that is something I could control, right? Like a quick systems check before I get the bike off the rack, even, and the parking lot would have clued me into the super easy fix that caused all these problems. Now, I'm still in good shape, right? Like if the shifting would have worked out, everything was still in pretty good shape. There's a big gap here. I'm with the lead group. That would have been okay, right? And but it didn't work out that way. So I did suffer. This is the big hill on the course, and we just got over that big hill, and then after that, some twist turns, and then another grinder is going to go up. So this section proved to be a little bit difficult for me because I just couldn't recover quite quickly enough to get back on the gas. So I'm really suffering right here. I'm super angry at my bike, and that's going to be a theme that we're going to find through the rest of the race. Now here comes my teammate John Lester bridging this gap like it's non-existent, right? Like that is an amazing feat. John has a huge FTP, an incredible power to weight ratio, so he's just going to bridge right up to me, and he's like the nicest guy on earth. So of course when he goes by, he's like, "Hey, grab a wheel," He slows down, and I'm like, "No, that's not going to happen." So intelligently, John went on to close the rest of this gap here. I wish I could have helped John more. I didn't know it was him at first. In the future, John, if I can help you, because I'm going to suffer and fall off this race anyway, just let me know. Like, hey, can you bridge that gap for me? I probably could have given a little more effort, but oh well. John went on to get third in the race. Super, super excited for John and see his fitness coming into incredible form. So excited to see what he's going to do the rest of the year, assuming we get some races. All right, so John's going to pass me here. I'm going to try to hang on to his wheel. That's not going to work out too well. And for the rest of this effort, I'm just having all kinds of shifting. It was literally every 3 to 4 seconds my bike was shifting. Every 3 to 4 seconds. You watch my right hand, you'll see me responding to this mystery shift, phantom shifting that my bike is doing on me. Now, I don't want to pin everything on the bike, right? Like, I had maybe some fitness issues or whatever else, but I felt actually really good. I had a good pre-race. All that stuff was set up, lining up correctly. I had the fuel strategy down. You can see my SIS gel in the cargo bin in front of me. That's good. A couple equipment choices in terms of my jacket. I feel like I overdid it again by one layer. So next time I want to go into the race shivering a bit and then plan on warming up. So that's something I'm going to think about next time is my clothing strategy, because what was happening is that heat from my body was coming, I would unzip my jacket a bit, and that heat would come out of my body and into my glasses and start to fog up. So that was just another thing that was distracting me and frustrating, but oh well. So the bike maintenance thing, right? Like, this is a big issue. I want to figure this out for road racing. I'm going to figure out this for cross. Like, I want to take the bike in. I spend so much time sitting in that basement suffering. I've got so much invested in all this stuff anyway, so another $100 to get the bike running tip-top shape is a no-brainer. I don't know why I'm not doing those types of things, right? Like replacing my drivetrain on some sort of regular basis, replacing my chain on a regular basis, having it checked out. Also, when the mechanic looked at this bike yesterday, the jockey wheel probably had about 3 centimeters of slop in either direction, and that's just a little too much for a jockey wheel. So stuff like that. Also, the timing on the laps, right? Like, I still screwed that up. I can't count. Now, last time I couldn't count to 8 or 9, whatever it was, and this time I can't even count to 6. So I don't even know. When I finished, I swore I had another lap. Even though you saw in that pre-video I said the race is going to be about an hour and 20 minutes. It was literally an hour and 20 minutes is where I finished. So I had it right. I knew it was right, but when I finished, I swear I had another lap. And my body said, no, you're not doing another lap. So if I did have another lap, I quit. I didn't do it. But in the end, the evidence suggests that I got all my laps in. So frustrating. Guys, it is hard to be dumb. Like, it is a real cross to bear that I can't even count to 6. It's crazy. So on one hand, like, that's frustrating. On the other hand, like, I know I'm giving it my all because I'm so gassed. My brain is literally not working to the level that I can't even count to 6. So, all right, I wanted to back up to that sharp right-hand downhill thing and just give you all one tip I picked out. When I was doing the pre-ride with my friend Derek, I noticed Derek, when he was hitting that turn, he was dragging his foot. And today's effort was harder to drag the foot because the snow was packed down a little bit. This is the second hardest turn, probably the hardest turn. It doesn't look like much in the video, but oh, that thing is so... It's sloppy and loose and off camber, and that was a tough one for me. But anyway, this dragging of the foot, tripoding on a fat bike, it's a real common occurrence, right? But one of the tips I picked up from Derek is to let that foot actually drag along the ground, and then that gives you the sense, the security of knowing right where the ground is. So you can really start to find the edge of your tires based on the confidence that your foot is giving you. So there again, mystery shift, you see it on the right hand. Mystery shift, mystery shift. That was hard. That was getting real hard. So at some point, I lost the chain. I got off the bike. Another point, I got off the bike just because I was frustrated and I literally took a deep breath on the side of the trail about lap 4, I think that was, and just collected my thoughts. Like, you can finish. Nothing's happening to you. You're fine. It's just frustrating that your bike shifts every 3 seconds. But it is frustrating, that's for sure. So fitness-wise, I think things are going okay with Trainer Road. I did have a lot of thoughts during this race. Like, you know what? I think I need a coach. Like, I just need something a little more customized. I feel like I have more time to give the sport, but I don't know how to use that time. And I know if someone were asking me that question, I would say, well, just throw in some more Zone 2 and forget about it, right? Maybe. I've recently started doing a little bit of a strength routine, so I'll share that with you guys when I get a little bit further down the road on making that worthwhile. But instantly I can tell you that is helping, and I wish that I had been doing that quite a bit earlier in my racing career. So Scott is going to pass me here, and I'm going to be able to hang with Scott for a bit, which is pleasant. And then later when we finish this lap, I'll actually pass Scott. He'll pass me back later in the race, and that'll be the nail in the coffin for me staying with Scott. But again, I'm still in pretty good shape. Like, there's 8 or 9 people ahead of me here in the elite category, so I'm gonna. If I would have stayed here, I would have finished right where I thought I was. That it's hard to say how much that bike shifting every 4 seconds cost me in terms of mental frustration, actual performance. Here you can see I'm trying the barrel adjuster. That's not going to do any good when your rear wheel is hanging on by a thread because you're through axle. But guys, I can't tell you how frustrating that was. So frustrating. So, looking ahead, what are some of these things that we can work on for next time? I feel the controllables that I had, the food, the carb intake, I probably should have taken 2 SIS gels instead of just the one, knowing that I can't get much down from a bottle. So mathematically, the bottle and the SIS gel should have been enough based on having an SIS gel minutes before the start. That would have been 22. Another 22 is 44 plus 30 in the bottle. So pretty close to the 90-minute effort I was expecting. If not exactly right, but I can't get through that bottle. It's so hard to drink during a fat bike race because you're so gassed. It's like cyclocross, and there's a reason that you don't put bottles on cyclocross bikes is because there's no point. It's an hour. You don't need the water, and you're breathing so hard you can't hardly drink. So here's my heart rate at 150, which if you watch the channel, that's quite a bit for me. And I did, based on the last race, I did switch over my Wahoo screen to reflect things that I can see when I'm dying. So there's still one more change I want to make to that screen to get it a little bit more dialed in. But we're getting there, right? So these are things I can control. The bike maintenance thing I can control. I just totally failed to do that. But it's a good lesson for me. It's a good lesson for you if you're watching the video. Think through, what are these things? What could go wrong? Well, the bike could break. Okay. What could I do to try to prevent that? You're never going to prevent it 100%, but what could I do to try to prevent that? I could get a tune-up. I could inspect the parts. I could look at the chain. I could re-lube things. It occurred to me, I got that new chain, but I didn't strip off the factory grease. I just let it run. That was a mistake. There was a brake rub, and when I got it on my own, let me tell you guys, that is the only thing you can hear is that brake rub. So when I took that deep breath off the side of the trail, I spun the wheel. Yes, there's a brake rub. No, it's not slowing me down. But when it's in your mind that you can hear it, oh, it is so hard. And like I said in the beginning of the course, the video, this course is a brain versus body effort. So my brain threw a lot of roadblocks at me. I had bike issues. I had, frustration with my training, not apparently producing the results that I want it to because I can't hang with that front group. So there's things there, right? Like that. There's things my brain is telling me that are frustrating. There's reasons that I say I don't know if I want to do this today. Like, would I have more fun sitting on the couch at home? So you have those thoughts. Those are things I can control. The attitude going into the race. I had a conversation with somebody prior to the race, Tanner, and I was like, oh, I don't know, man. I'd rather be at home. Like, that's a defeatist attitude. And he even called me out on it. Like, hey, that's not right. And I'm like, I know, yeah. I don't know why I feel that way, but I did. It was a gorgeous day, gorgeous race, fun environment. Fitness-wise, I felt pretty decent. I just, again, that once that bike thing got in my head, that was hard during the race. But that conversation with Tanner was prior to me knowing that I had a bike problem. So this is something I can work on. I spent a lot of time, in my defense, I spent a lot of time this week focusing on knowing that first 10 minutes of the race is going to be hard and just being okay with that, embracing that difficulty for the first 10 minutes and then just trying the best as I can to mellow out and race my race. And I feel like I did a pretty good job with that. And part of that was maybe because we had a fairly easy start. Who knows? I didn't get to experience the full 10 minutes when the first attack really went off. So, oh well, that's racing. There's 2 more races in this series, so I'm still hoping to show some improvement. This was not the day for improvement, but I think my fitness is coming up. My weight is dropping, believe it or not, and I think with another 6 weeks to go or 7 weeks to go, I'll have a little bit more chance at fitness or that strength training to come around. So here we're going to go through start finish. I'm going to be able to pass Scott here momentarily, and he'll pass me a few minutes after this, but I just wanted to show this last little extension. And then I have a little bit of a clip after this, after I pass Scott. A little bit of a clip of another group. And again, I joined probably 3, maybe even 4 different groups throughout the day that it seemed every single person was passing me, and I passed like literally no one all day. It's so frustrating. So this was a group. I felt really comfortable with them. Ultimately, it broke up. Alex is leading this group and did just an awesome job, Alex. It's just so cool to watch you progress through the sport. Well done, man. All right. It was a fun race. I had a blast. My teammate, Big Bad John Lester, got 3rd place. That's so cool. Good for him. But I am too cold to hang out down here. I'm going to get going. Take that 1 mile ride uphill both ways back to the car. Go home and lick my wounds. Figure out what we're going to do better next time. All right, that's it for today, friends. Thank you for joining these videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing the video. Anybody that was there, tag them, let them know about it. I appreciate it. Subscribe, like, love comments. So throw a comment in, and I'll see you guys soon.